This is the Level Up Lifestyle Podcast, where we dive deep into conversations that matter for today's leaders and growth seekers. In today's episode, Rebekah sits down with agency owner Barry Bandera. We get to learn from each milestone in Barry's journey, from the moment that changed his life forever.
When I was 10, my parents divorced.
To the way he motivated himself away from his problems.
What gave you confidence that you were going to be successful?
Fear of being poor.
To the question that made all of his work worth it.
And I often ask her, I'm like, why did you marry me? She says, because I knew you'd be a good dad.
All of this coming up next on the Level Up Lifestyle.
Welcome back to the Level Up Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Rebekah Samuels, and we're coming to you live from Globe Life Studios here in McKinney, Texas. Today, we are joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Barry Bandera. Barry, thank you for joining the podcast.
It's an honor and privilege to be here, Rebekah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm excited to dive right in. So
let's go.
Tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what your family was like, your home or your community.
Hey, I grew up right down the street from Rangers Stadium.
Okay.
Six Flags, Wet and Wild. Obviously, Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
So I'm a mid-cities kid, the concrete jungle. Went to the great Lamar High School.
Okay.
Coach Eddie Peach was my football coach, who's a storied coach here in the state of Texas.
Yeah. Okay. So before you get to high school, tell us a little bit about your family, mom, dad, siblings. Is your whole family from Arlington or are you a transplant? How did we get here?
I come from a really great family. We all lived within 5 miles of each other growing up. So,
wow.
My grandparents lived right down the street. My other grandparents lived about 5 miles away. My sister always stayed in Texas. She was in California for a little bit. So we grew up on the little cookie cutter street with the grandparents close by. So they were very loving and supportive, and yeah.
So a tight-knit family.
Very much so. Yep. And which is great about that is when when the challenges of life come along and you have a family unit, there's a lot of love and support there,
Okay. So what were we farmers back then? I mean, I can only imagine Arlington looked a little different. What were we doing? What was the family dynamic like?
Well, my dad worked at Six Flags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's been in the amusement park tourism business for 60 years. He still even drives a Jeep tour in Canyon City, Colorado, even today.
Oh my goodness. Okay, a man of adventure.
Yep.
So were you growing up going to Six Flags?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's got to be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And he worked with International Wildlife Park, and he worked for Great Adventure in New Jersey for 3 years. And so, moved up the corporate ladder, but always stayed in the same pretty much industry the whole time. I had a grandfather who worked at General Motors for 35 years, right down the street here. I had an uncle that worked for General Motors for, I think, also 35 years.
Wow.
So longevity is just something that was always showed to me throughout my whole family. Love and longevity growing up. So we took a job, we did the best we could, we moved up, and we just tried to be of service to people. So that was the examples I got to grow up with. Even my wife's father worked for the same leather company in Yoakum, Texas for 40 years.
Wow.
My brother-in-law was the same law firm for 36 years. So this is
in your blood.
This is all I know.
This is all you know.
Yeah,
wow.
I just know people make a decision and they stick to it. So that's helped me, I think, a lot, especially in this career. When I was 10, my parents divorced. So, so don't recommend that. But what that did do for me is it gave me a lot of flexibility and freedom in my life, so I could make those mistakes. And boy, I made them.
So what is that? I mean, obviously now hindsight's a little different, but as a 10-year-old, I mean, what are you thinking and feeling when mom are now not coming home to the same house? I mean, what's that like?
Well, I had 2 Christmases, I had 2 Easters, I had 2 Thanksgivings, and I
mean, that might be a perk for some folks, but no, in all honesty, I mean, what were you going through?
I was really too young to comprehend. My dad and my uncle are big hunters. So being able to spend time with them in camp, in 10-degree weather with plastic boots on, because back in those days, kids didn't have good clothing. So that was a great, fun thing to grow up, being hunting and fishing and being in the outdoors. My mom's super loving, great Christian woman. Her and my father got married very young, and had my sister very young. And of course, I came 5 years later. So when the divorce happened, she had to go out. She was a stay-at-home mom. She did some school teaching, but so to watch her grow from stay-at-home mom to now joining the work world was also a great example.
Wow.
Because she worked at Dobbs House Duty Free at the airport, and she started out entry level and worked all the way up into leadership for many, many years, and even worked for the Culinary Institute of America as a recruiter.
Wow.
So to watch your mom go from, I have a GED to now I'm a leadership in a company, was a great example. She had to work her tail off, and
you can respect it. So I'm assuming with Dad working at General Motors, so Uncle, Grandpa working at General Motors, you got all these great longevity jobs and Six Flags. I'm assuming life looked a little different, if you were growing up with Dad being the primary financial provider and then Mom has to start all over.
Yeah.
I mean, were we living in the same neighborhood 5 miles from Grandma and Grandpa, or what changed?
Yeah. We still lived within a 5-10 mile radius. My mom and Dad were very cordial. They both had their own careers and grew in that way, which was great. So yeah, obviously when things like that happen, they're heartbreaking, but there's a lot of growth in them as well. And I'm still, my father was the best man in my wedding. My mom now has moved down to Austin where I live now. So she lives in
special.
Sun City in Austin. And my sister also, awesome lady. Her and her husband live in Sun City as well. So they finally came and moved close to me. But
that's not a hard sale. They're happy to come down there. Okay, so Mom and Dad split. You get the advantage of 2 Christmases, the advantage of seeing Mom go. I mean, it's neat to hear you find the positives, but you also said it gave you room to make mistakes. What are some of the things you had to learn the hard way?
Well, when both your parents work, I mean, you have the run of the house. I mean, you can do whatever you want, and not to go into any details. I mean,
don't tell on yourself.
Nothing. I never got arrested.
Well, no, I mean, is there anything you learned the hard way that you're now like, oh, that was really impactful. I'm glad that I figured that out before,
Yeah. I mean, we went from living in the most beautiful colonial home you've ever seen, on an acre of land. My mom had a brand new Monte Carlo.
Oh yeah, well the family works for General Motors.
My dad had a brand new Chevy Suburban. I mean, so we were living the life, and then we went to a 3-bedroom apartment on the other side of the tracks. And we were, we paid our bills, but we lived paycheck to paycheck. So that was a great lesson to watch my mom handle money and how she handled it, and how she had to use her credit cards to pay for our school clothes, and and how she spent the rest of the year paying that off. Dadgummit. And and I remember my first truck I bought was a 1978 Ford F-150. I bought it for $3,000. My dad went, I had to, I mowed yards. I did all that stuff because money wasn't given to me. No one was going to buy me a car like our kids nowadays. So I had to go earn that stuff. I had to, and I did take a couple of hourly jobs. I remember I worked, for, $4 or $5 an hour. And I realized early in life, I said, this isn't going to cut it. So I started mowing yards. I started a landscaping company when I was in high school. So the challenge with that is that means I had to mow, 5 yards after football practice on Saturday morning in the heat while all my friends were going to the state fair to enjoy themselves. I was mowing yards and drinking Coca-Colas. I don't know how we lived on that stuff, but so
it's the water of the South.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah, it taught me the value of $1, and it taught me how to be resourceful because there's no limit to the amount of yards you can mow. So you can build your clientele base and kind of, my dad bought the lawnmower.
So you had an investor.
I think I stole the weed eater. So just, so or maybe
you're an entrepreneur in every sense of the word. You figured it out.
So I learned how to grind, and I learned how to make ends meet and how to help my parents as well. Not have so much financial stress on them going from the perfect type situation to now we're living paycheck to paycheck. And obviously we graduated from that.
Yeah. Sounds like your mom really worked hard and totally changed her career.
And my first, and I went to college and.
So no football, didn't go pro?
No. I was a deep snapper. That was my claim to fame. I was a 165-pound deep snapper.
Okay. But you were attracted to sports. You like the.
Yeah. So being part of a football team and I pole vaulted and I played some baseball. I mean, being part of a team really helped me understand that if we all can do something, if we can all work together, then good things can happen. But my first, when I came back from my first year of college, can I get to college at this point?
Sure.
When I came back to my first year of college, I got a job at General Motors.
Okay.
My grandfather and my uncle got me in as vacation replacement, and I was making $20 an hour. Pretty good.
That's really good.
Yeah. It was, and I did that all summer. I did that 2 summers in a row, vacation replacement. So like when their full-time employees would go on vacation in the summer, we would take their place on the assembly line, which was crazy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, MIG welders, sparks going everywhere. We had full terry cloth gloves.
Steel toe boots, like the whole thing. I
still got a scar on my hand right here where I touched some sheet metal and it cut me and I had to get stitches.
Well, was this the early dream? I mean, were you looking at uncle and grandfather going, you've been somewhere for 30 years? I mean, was this the thought of young Barry?
Well, no, the thought of young Barry was I need to pay my bills. I need to pay my way through college. I need to help mom. I need to.
Yeah.
So it's survival.
Okay.
It's the fear of being poor. That's a big motivator, But working on the assembly line, that my second summer, I read a book by Tony Robbins called Unlimited Powers. And in that book, he talks about how vision and goals and growth, personal development, if you can just take those 3 or 4 success principles and mold them together, there's no limit to what you can accomplish in life. So I would work on the car. I'd read a paragraph. I go back, work on the car. I'd read another paragraph or a couple sentences. So that summer I was able to get that through that book, and it just opened my mind up to a whole different world. That's the power of books. That's the power of books. And then the vacation replacement job, my third year in college went away because the economy went down. So that wasn't an opportunity. And I answered an ad I went to Texas State University. I answered an ad.
Go Cats.
Go Cats. Eat 'em up. In the school newspaper. And it said something like, make $500 to $700 a week. I was like, that sounds kind of like General Motors. So I went to the interview. It was at a Holiday Inn there in San Marcos. It was a group interview. And it was to work for a publishing company out of Nashville to sell educational and religious products door to door in another state. I think you're familiar with it.
And mom was super excited about this.
Oh yeah, she was. Yeah, but you know what? She's always supportive. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
She was like, well, dear, I'd rather you mow yards, but I just knew I had to make enough money to pay for my school.
Okay.
I didn't want that to be a burden on my parents.
Where did that come from?
What?
Wanting to do it on your own. I mean, it sounds like you're very committed to making your own way and paying your part. Where did that come from? Did you see that in mom and dad or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Yeah, my whole family, all my grandfathers, my uncles, my aunts, all great ladies. My mom, my sister, they always set the example for me. We're going to figure out a way to get it done. Through the good and the bad, the ugly and the sideways, we're going to figure out a way to get it done. And so that just carried on in my life.
And what gave you confidence to go to Nashville?
Yeah.
And sell books door to door? What gave you confidence that you were going to be successful?
Fear of being poor.
Got it. Okay, I see a theme. Yeah.
I remember one time in high school, my truck broke down, my $3,000 truck,
okay.
and it needed a $1,200 transmission. And I didn't have the money. And I was so sad that I was like, I can't even fix my truck. And I went and told my grandfather, and he gave me the money. And every time I mowed a yard, I'd sign the check over to him, and I'd go and I'd hand it to him, and he had a ledger, and he'd mark off until it was paid off.
Wow.
So that's part of being a part of a family. He's like, well, I'm not going to give him the money. I'm going to make him earn it, which was a valuable lesson.
Wow.
So just having people like that in your life, that they're not going to give you things, they're going to make you earn it, because that's what they did. And they're not job jumping. They went to work for a company. My one grandfather built jets for the Navy.
Oh, geez.
For 42 years. Right here in Arlington, Texas. So anyway, so
it had a big impact on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it encouraged me to try things that most people won't try. And that's working for the publishing company.
And how did it go? Going door to door
all
summer long?
Well, I was number 2 in the state of Texas for all first year agents. So it went well. One thing I learned very quickly is that talent has nothing to do with it, because I wasn't talented. Work ethic has everything to do with it. So there are a lot of very talented, sharp college kids in that program. I still know a lot of them today that just couldn't work that hard. They didn't have the work ethic. And my manager said, Barry, if you'll just outwork everybody, stay on schedule. And we worked 80 hours a week.
Wow.
From pretty much from 8 in the morning to 9. If you stay on schedule, you will outproduce and you will outpace everybody who has more talent than you. Sure enough, that happened. Another light bulb went off in my head. Wow, I can outwork people. It's okay to be a hard worker. That's what my whole family has done. That's what they've showed me. So it was just a natural thing that kind of happened for me. In that first summer, I came home with $12,000. My second summer in that program.
Not bad.
My second summer in that program, I came home with $20,000. My third summer in that program, I came home with $30,000. So money wasn't a challenge at that point. Once I knew I had a vehicle where it was 100% commission.
Okay.
There was no limit to the amount of money I could make. I had to learn the sales talk. I had to be a pro at that, but I was in control of my destiny. There's only so many yards you can mow in a day. There's only so many cars you can work on at General Motors.
Okay.
There's only so many restaurants you can work at. This was something that I could do at 80 hours a week. I had unlimited potential and unlimited income. And as my skills improved the second and third summer, obviously my income went up. So I understand, hey, when you provide a higher value to the public, when you provide a better service to the public, that's when you get compensated more. And that's when you move up a career track in a company. That was modeled by everybody in my family already. I was just fortunate enough to find an unlimited income stream, with the publishing company and also now with Globe Life Family Heritage.
So what spurred you to find Globe Life and Family Heritage? Because it sounds like you had found your lane, like you said, took the principles you saw as a young man and found your lane. Was there something missing or?
Well, no, God in his infinite wisdom.
Okay.
kept me going on this path, so.
And wait, do we have a girlfriend or a wife at this point? Or are we still single Barry figuring his life out? Okay.
I was still gunning and running.
Okay, we like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, boy, man, a lot of lessons learned.
Any that stick with you now that you take to family heritage, to your life from books?
I like to treat people the way I want to be treated. I want to treat people the way I want my family treated. So in sales or any leadership position or anything I ever try to do, I try to just say, how would I want my grandmother treated? How would I want my mom treated? How would I want my sister, how do I want to be treated? I'm going to treat people that way with love and respect and dignity. And that doesn't mean I can't get fired up. I can definitely get fired up when needs be, but that's not really my nature. My nature is to everybody be happy, everybody be calm. Let's just move forward in a positive way and let's make a difference in people's lives. Whether you're mowing their yard, whether you're fixing their car, or whether you're selling them a religious or educational product to help their kids through school. Those are natural fits. So I graduated from college. All my college loans were paid off the first summer, just done. I'm not bragging. It's a proud fact.
But you did it. You worked for it.
It's a proud fact.
Yeah. You did things that other people weren't willing to do.
Basically, yes. And so this 150-year-old publishing company out of Nashville started a supplemental insurance company in 1989 called Family Heritage, Life Insurance Company of America. We have a song and everything. Are
you going to grace us with?
No,
Good.
No. I'm not going to do that. So I thought, great. I trust the publishing company. They've always been good to me. They always train me. They always give me all the opportunity. They never took anything away from me. They always trying to build a better Barry Bandera every year. And so do I really want to be in insurance? Not really. Yuck. All my friends are making fun of me. This isn't.
It's not cool.
Do I want to do this? And then I saw the product.
Okay.
My interview, one of my early mentors was David Dean. He's the author. Now's Your Time to Win. Great book. Everybody should read it. We had an 8-hour interview at Berry Creek Country Club in Georgetown, Texas, where I probably asked him every question in the book. We went through lunch and dinner at the same seating. Like the waiters were like, "What are y'all doing?"
You're figuring it out.
I was asking him every question in the book. And
what were some of the non-negotiables that you were just heck bent on figuring out?
Is this real? We sold a licensed product, which was good. I'd had some family members deal with cancer in my family, so I kind of understood cancer, heart, accident were things that do happen.
Yeah.
I had a lot of that in my family. And it was just, I think it came down to the product. I forgot your question, but it came down to the product being something that can make a difference in people's lives, making sure that everything would be in place. So if I did want to scale this business after 3, 4, 5 years I wanted to see if there was really potential to scale the business. And Dave Dean made it very clear, yes, you can scale this business and we will scale this business. And, and that was $100 million in premium ago. So I think it worked out.
Yeah.
So my first couple months in the business, how I knew I made a good decision is that, I gave 20 to 30 presentations a week. So that means I sat down with a business owner or a family at their kitchen table, showed them our cancer ICU plan, and I was amazed at the reaction or the response. They were like, wow, that really pays that? So you're telling me if my sister, when she dealt with breast cancer, would have had this, y'all would have paid her this much money? That's exactly what we would have paid her, And then I started having some personal claims, some ICU claims, some cancer claims of people right there in Elgin, Texas, where I worked for many years. Still have hundreds of clients out there.
Wow.
But it was just watching people respond to that policy and tell me, well, man, my dad could use this and my brother could use this. And then I realized, oh, cancer really does affect 1 out of 3 people. Okay. I thought that was just part of the sales talk. Oh, people really could have used this. Okay. I'm off to the races. Let's go. So
what were some of those early claims?
Man, I mean,
were there any that stand out to you?
There's a lot of them, but one of my first claim was a 34-year-old single dad truck driver. 31 days after he enrolled in the policy, he was diagnosed with cancer. And we paid him $35,000. And his premium was $39.50 a month, covered him and his daughter. So I was fortunate to get to know his family because they also became clients of mine. Either when he got the policy and we paid other claims to his sister ran the Sonic there in Elgin, Texas, him and her and her husband. So they were so appreciative. I mean, they were like in tears, like, thank you so much for going over and seeing Mike at 9:00 that night when he got home from his route. And yeah. So then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much more than insurance. This is not insurance. This is assurance. We're assuring these people won't go bankrupt when they deal with with things that affect 1 out of 2 heart and stroke and 1 out of 3 cancer. And accidents are a dime a dozen, on or off the job. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So this is when you knew?
So yeah. So when those claims started coming in, that's when I, judging from my family's history of longevity and love and everything they do, I'm like, okay, for some reason, I just knew this would be a long-term career. And I even knew it when I sat down with David Dean. But just to have that evidence of people being affected positively was everything I knew to scale this business like that. So it's been a great 32 years, and I'm not going anywhere. I was able to go from a top sales professional with not a lot of talent, but work ethic out the yin yang, to a field director, market director, a regional director.
Barry, can I interrupt you?
Sure.
We know you went on to great heights. Was there ever times where you had to stop and kind of rededicate your faith, for lack of a better word? You talked about your first year, you talked about those claims, and that's when you knew. I mean, in 30 years, there's got to be some etches or some lines in the sand. Did you ever have to recommit or recast your vision?
I had to recommit every day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Direct sales is not easy. When you're dealing with humans, it's not easy. But I think where I committed to 5 years. Okay. Because in our company, once you're here 5 years, you're 100% vested. Even if you leave, you get commissions and renewals for the lifetime of the business. And then it goes to your surviving family and kids and all that. But in 5 years, I said, okay, I'm 28. I'm just gonna kind of look around and kind of see what's out there. Just get an idea. Because my wife worked at that time.
Hang on, we got a wife. Okay, tell us, where do we meet wife? How did this happen?
So after my first year with Family Heritage, we met through mutual friends out on the town in Austin, Texas.
Awesome.
Did I say that right?
There you go. Hey, the truth is the truth.
And talk about third person selling. She was from Yoakum, Texas.
Okay, that's not far.
And so I met her out and about. Sure. And of course, she was the best looking girl in the bar.
That's right.
And she wasn't going to give me the time of day. She just wasn't gonna do that. But I said, "Where are you from?" She goes, "I'm from Yoakum, Texas." I said, "Oh, well, I went to high school with a guy named Todd Minkalinka who's from Yoakum, Texas." She goes, "I know the Minkalinkas. How do you know?" So
power names, people.
Like, so that gave me just enough 15, 20, 30 minutes to talk to her, and she was there with a friend.
Oh, wow.
And then I think I called her a week later. And our first date was the Mega Buck Thunder Bull Riding Championship at the Irwin Center in Austin, Texas. Country girl from a country town.
Okay, you knew.
Daisy Duke. Oh, no. What are the jeans that, forget it.
Overalls?
No. I forgot the name of the jeans that the girls wore back in those days. But,
that's funny.
So if you're dating a country girl, you go to
take her to a country spot.
Go to a bull riding competition, and then we went and shot pool.
There you go. This mid-cities boy didn't do that bad. Right. I like it.
Come to find out, she didn't like any of that stuff. She didn't have to go to a bull riding. She liked being in the city and doing city things. And
God knew.
She liked the better life. Not that country's not a good life. It's a great life. But,
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's, So,
Wow.
and we'll be married 30 years in March. So my first year with Family Heritage, although my advances were, enough to pay my bills and do well, my 1099 said $22,000. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's a totally different situation, babe. We had one product. The premium was 1/3 what it is today. But for some reason, she still dated me, even though I wasn't showing a lot of promise after my first year with Family Heritage. And I often ask her, I'm like, why did you marry me? Because she says, because I knew you'd be a good dad.
And you are.
You have some vodka.
And she was right.
I hope I was a good dad. I don't know.
You are.
Yeah.
Because you have 3.
Yep. So Jan and I met in 93. We had Cade and Caroline, twins, in 98. They're 27 now. Yep. Cade's a graduate of Baylor University and works for the San Diego Padres in San Diego. So he gets to live in San Diego. His sister is special needs in the autism spectrum. She lives with us. Beautiful, wonderful girl who likes being with mom and dad. So it's definitely a gift from God.
Oh yeah,
and
best friend for life.
Be able to provide her with the life that she needs. And then 5 years later, we had Emma Grace, a fiery redhead, was born. We don't know how she was born. She just was.
What do you mean you don't know how she was born?
But she's been great. She's been a blessing. She's really big in Young Life and Capernaum and Young Life, and is campus leader at University of Texas, and it really gives back to the community and brings people to their faith.
Wow.
On that. So she lives 15 minutes from us, and we all live in our little house there in Austin, Texas. By the country club and overlooking the great hill country, and it's just so we're in a really good spot. Only because I was scared of being poor. I didn't want to be poor. And how that has transitioned through getting a career where there's no limits, having the love and support of my friends and my family and my new wife, and then just being fortunate enough to find a good opportunity and take advantage of the opportunity in the right ways. And it finds us in a really good spot in life. Yeah. Not always easy. There's challenges.
Sure.
I mean,
looking back, was there anything you learned the hard way? Because let's say we did our first year, we're married, then we're 5 years in. Sounds like we recommitted.
That's
really
right.
accelerated leadership. Was there anything? You've had a couple lives. Is there anything you feel like you learned the hard way that now is just, pivotal?
No.
Just kept working.
There are times in my life, and maybe even today, I could have been a better communicator because I'm more of a bull in a china shop. Let's go. I don't want to hear it.
That's right.
Which is not my greatest quality. And I'm learning through relationships with people I work with now.
Sure.
How I can get better. But no, it starts with my good family. Dozens of examples of loving, consistent, caring people that were always there for you.
Yeah.
They weren't lecturing me. They weren't saying, you better not do that. None of that. It was just like, hey, we love you. We trust you. Yeah, you made a mistake here, but let's move forward. You go get them, Tiger.
Yeah. What does that look like now as a dad? So that's what you experience. Do you pay that forward in the same kind, or
absolutely?
How has that affected you as a dad?
Yeah, absolutely. I let them make all the mistakes they can. Yeah. It's different for kids nowadays. Their fear of being poor has never crossed their mind in their entire life.
And what a gift. Yeah. What a gift you've given them, you and Jana.
I solved that problem. So, but there's so much more in the life than any of that stuff. That, material possessions, trips, they're fun and they're great memories, but it's about family, and it's about your relationship with our Savior, Jesus Christ. That's what it's all about. Looking back over the last 30 years in my marriage and in my business, that trivial stuff is no big deal. It's about the relationships. It's just about being able to look back and say, hey man, we've been consistently loving people all this time. And that's just a really good feeling to know that you ran the course. You learned your lessons. You corrected the ship when you needed to correct the ship. So, but back to the 5-year thing.
No, I mean, I'm going to pivot. Is that okay?
Okay.
So I think you brought up a great thing. You brought up your faith. I mean, how does your faith affect your running your business?
Man, that's a good one. I don't know. The faith really has come on strong since in the last 7 years.
Okay.
Really.
What happened that's catapulted?
Because once you hit 50, you really start thinking. You're like, okay, great. We have a big house. We have nice cars. We have a boat. What else
does
it really make you happy? It doesn't. It doesn't things don't make you happy. People and relationships and helping others is what makes you happy. So I really had to circle back around to God and say, thank you for this life you've given me. You've always been right here. Have I paid enough attention to you? No. Please forgive me for that. And now I want to have a personal relationship because now I know it's because of you I have all these things. So yeah, so when you'll see, and you're already there probably, but
no, and I can learn a lot more from you, Barry.
Yeah, I mean you get to certain ages where things that you thought were so important really aren't important.
So perspective, and gratitude,
like things like this is fun. I'm not good at this, but just like wow,
yes,
you think enough of me to come do a podcast in Globe Life Studios? What am I going to say? But you're like, no, we want you to say something. Okay. I'm honored and I'm privileged. Thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity. So you start developing when you always strive to be your very best, over time, you start developing an attitude of gratitude. And trust me, I still have tough days, mornings where I'm not thinking correctly. But if I have someone to go to take those worries to, I don't have to take the burden of those. Yeah.
Man.
And you can't always do it with other humans because they're not always listening. Or they might not care. And that's okay. That's okay.
So do you have any routines or practices that help you stay grounded?
For me, it's obviously schedule. I'm a schedule hound because that's what's developed my whole career, my life, and my family. Yeah, I mean, I like to first thing in the morning, I go to my Bible app, first 15 minutes, and I'm getting better at this. I'm not perfect, but just go through the lesson on that Bible app every morning. First thing, like the first thing that goes into my mind.
That's good.
Much better than the news, much better than your phone. And I've gone through some bad habits of doing that. I'm getting away from them.
It's good to know you're human, Barry.
Yeah.
You got some bad habits too.
I like to go to the gym and turn on my Apple Watch for 1 hour and say, I'm going to work out for 1 hour. And I'll do that 2 or 3 days a week. I'll play tennis 2 or 3 days a week. I've gotten to a really good place with my diet. Bad word. I got a really good place with my nutrition where I'm really focusing in on protein and things like that just because
cool.
I'm 57 next week.
Happy early birthday.
Hey, thank you. I want to live to be 100. I want to see my grandkids. I want to see my great grandkids. I remember what it was like when my grandparents they were always healthy and thriving and doing all kinds of fun stuff. It was always great to be in their life, and to watch them go about. And then when they're not there, then you realize, wow, what a great example, So I just want, once again, because of my family, I want to set a good example for everybody else. And sometimes I fail, but more and more I'm getting it right. Yeah, more and more.
When you do fail, how do you get back up? What does that look like? Is that a conversation with you, with Jana, with God? Like neither, either, all?
Well, if you failed someone, then you got to have a conversation with them. But typically I take it to God. And I apologize and I'm forgiven. And I say, thank you for a second chance. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
And he gives us the strength to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking a little ahead because we've looked behind. What do you hope people remember most about your leadership, your influence?
You know, just like my mentors, you know, my father, my uncles, my grandparents, you know, David Dean, Howard Lewis, Ken Mattson, Eric Shannenberger, Mike Casco. Gosh, I shouldn't have named names because I don't want to forget somebody. Yeah.
Insert all important people in my
Everybody,
life.
You know who you are. Joe Jacobson. Oh, just
right.
What a joy. I love that guy.
Another grandpa in the way.
Yeah. Ugh. So just like Howard and Joe and Ken and all these men, David Dean, all these men that I mentioned, my father, my uncles, it wasn't what they told me. It wasn't any type of lecture or book they gave me. It was just their example they gave me of being strong, hardworking men who provide for their families. That's what I want to be remembered for. Yeah. That I made a difference in people's lives through a career, through family, through church, because I set the proper example for everybody. I wanted to be known. I'm the guiding light. Barry always did the right thing. And I haven't always done the right thing. So don't think I'm perfect. But Barry always strived to do the right thing in every situation and in every circumstance for the betterment of all people involved. So is that the right answer?
It's yours.
Okay. That's just what.
And we appreciate it.
That might be too simple for most people.
Simple is good, Barry.
Yeah. So true.
Simple is good. Okay. So thinking back to young Barry in Arlington, Texas, not knowing, the divorce that was about to happen, moving across the tracks, the truck that was going to break down, right? The fear of failure that was going to occur, the trips of the unknown to the book field. I mean, what would you tell yourself standing where you stand now to young Barry? What advice would you give him?
Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be just fine. Do the best you can. Get better every day. Love the people around you. Everything's going to be just fine. And work your tail off. When you work 80 hours a week, 40 seems pretty simple. So I think it comes down to the perspective of what hard work means. But most people don't understand. I'm not all knowing, but a lot of people just aren't willing to work. They're not willing to grind, or they're above it, or they're past it, or they're like, I'm too good for that. They have this grass is greener mentality. So I want to do the easiest thing I can do, but that wasn't when I was shown growing up. So fortunately, I did those things, and I still do them. I get to have a little bit more free time now. I get to,
So it works out.
Yeah, flexibility in schedule.
Works out.
Yeah, I mean, if there's something I need to do outside of a career or family, I can definitely do it. And money's not everything, but it does give you a lot of options to do things in life that a lot of people can't do because they always have to work. But to tell my own self back when I was a kid, I would just tell them to calm down, do the best you can, and everything's going to be great. And in a weird way, Rebekah, in the back of my mind, I knew it was going to be like that. In a weird way, I always knew I'd be successful. I just had to work for it. I always knew it. I for some reason, I knew that this fear of being poor, this fear of failure, I'm going to benefit from that daily grind, eventually. And it happened pretty quick.
So lean into the fear and go to work.
And I'm the type of person that if something's working, don't change it. Don't be the grass is greener. Don't get bored. Get more creative. Dive into self-development. Help develop the people around you, which I'm not great at. I'm just like, go do it.
Hey, your bad is better than most people's good.
Oh, good. Thank you. So
yeah. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your story. We respect you. And we love you. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you on the next episode of the Level Up Lifestyle.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has inspired you on your path to success. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. See you soon on the Level Up Lifestyle podcast.